from Julio Cruz and Gaylord Perry to Alvin Davis and Harold Reynolds to father and son back-to-back bombs, from Junior J, Joey, and Edgar with Randy, A-Rod, Dan, and the Sheriff, to Ichiro Moyer and Mikey C, to King Felix, Kyle Cruz, and Cano, to the present with Julio, Gilbert, Kirby, and Cal. I don't believe it. It just continues. My, oh my, it's another sports podcast. My, oh my, our Mariners have started to struggle big time, including getting swept from that team up north. Also, we got a little bit of action in the winter sports, including the Stanley Cup playoffs, NBA playoffs. I don't know if y'all get down with those two sports, but my, oh my, it's another sports podcast. We got to give a huge shout out to super producer Indy out there in Nashville, Tennessee. That's Vaden Podcast Services. Vaden Podcast Services. They're bringing this show to life. Got to give a huge shout out to all the homies in the live chat. We love the energy and the fire and the knowledge y'all bring to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in every Sunday evening. But of course, back wearing number 45, he'll mess around and get a triple-double. RG. Thank you for coming back, bro. How you been, man?
Somebody said y'all were looking for me. Here I go. Let's get to work.
Well, I wish the Mariners were doing a little more work, but let's just jump into the Toronto series right off the bat, man. We can get into the Sacktown A's. I almost mess it up every time. But 9 straight series wins. I believe that was second best in franchise history. All good things come to an end, and the Blue Jays took it to us. Talk to me, man.
George Springer remembered how to hit the ball. Bichette remembered how to hit the ball. Looks like the guys who forgot to hit the ball wear the teal uniforms. But it's all right. We knew we were going to have one of these come back to earth series sooner or later. Happy that it happened this week. Big opportunity, though, headed up in front of us. So not going to kick a man while he's down, but definitely need to see us get back to the way that things were. Believe it's an old Jay-Z song said it was all good about a week ago. So let's get back to that.
Yeah, no doubt. That's what it's like being a baseball fan. And some fans, we don't really tell you how to do your thing on this show. Some want to stay really even keel. I have no problem riding the waves of emotion every week. That's the fun of it, man. And I was so high last week. And to be frank, let's rewind a little bit. At Sacramento, the Mariners easily could have gotten swept there too. They pulled some late inning magic in Game 2 and Game 3 versus Sacramento in the early part of May. And then they almost pulled some late inning magic in the Game 1 against Toronto. I guess sometimes the magic just runs out, RG, but am I crazy to think that some of the lineup might be fool's gold? Or is this just the ebb and flow of baseball and you're eventually going to put up a couple of stinkers offensively?
Hardest thing in sports to do is to hit a round ball with a round bat. That's why we celebrate guys who are successful at their job 30% of the time, and we put them in what's called the Hall of Fame. Again, bound to happen. I agree with the comments coming into the early chat. It does show us how important Logan and Kirby are, and I did see that Logan had a rehab start, had 5 Ks, throwing the ball well. I'm not sure they've gotten Logan started yet. We did trade Luis Castillo. I'm not going to tell you which one. Go on ahead and look at our roster. You tell me which one we let go of. But we did bring back the most important player in franchise history, cash considerations.
Let's go.
Hitting 450 on the year with 900 home runs, pitched 168 innings with his left arm, his right arm, and his pinky toe. Cash considerations, one of the best to ever do it. But nah, man, real talk. What I noticed that every time I got an alert when I was at work or was running around checking things out. Rowdy Tejas is doing his best to beat the allegations. He's doing his best to beat the allegations. I am not a fan of retread players, but he's trying to get himself off of that list and show himself that he actually belongs in our lineup. The platoon third basemen we have, those guys, Master Boney and Williamson, they're doing their best to keep us in games as well too. Dylan Moore with yard today. But we obviously aren't going to do any damage in trying to keep this lead or get to where we want to be unless we get obviously more out of Julio. Gonna need Cal to stay a little bit more consistent. But again, I promised I wasn't going to start waving the flag and start marching with my pitchfork down Pioneer Square. It's it's just part of the game right now, man. So bad week. Let's brush it off. Didn't we got out of the week and we still maintained our lead in the AL West. We are 2 games up on Houston and the A's. So those 2 wins in Sacramento turned out to be what we needed just to keep the breathing room. But this isn't going to get easy this week. It's really not going to get easy this week. So, we're definitely are on adversity's doorstep right now and interested to see how the boys respond.
That's a really good point, man. And this is where the competitor inside of you is going to get fired up because you ain't kidding. We got the Yankees and the Padres after getting swept. There's no easy way out here. The guys got to really step their game up, or it's going to be a significant losing streak because the Yankees and Padres are both looking to do serious damage in September, in October. That's their aspirations. The Mariners have the same too, bro. And as crazy as it is, I talked about it last week, and the offense has tailed off a little bit. But let's just think about your general perception of the Mariners, especially the last several years. All arms, no hitting. That's basically what we've been talking about for 4 straight years now. But I'm looking at this, RG. The Mariners are 14th in team ERA, right smack dab in the middle, but we're 6th in runs per game, 4th in home runs, 6th in on base percentage, and up to 15th in batting average, which for the Mariners is a vast improvement, as we know. They've been struggling mightily to even hit 220 up and down the lineup the last few years. So I am optimistic about that. But talk to me about this one, man. Bryce Miller. We've talked about this before, and I think we need to bring this mantra up more, and that progression isn't linear. Cal Raleigh's taken off like a spaceship. Julio seems to be one step forward, one step back, much of his career so far. But Bryce Miller's ERA was under 3 for the entire season last year. It's over 5 right now, and the walks are killing him. He is down at a mere 11% walk rate, and hitters are only chasing out of the zone at a minimal rate. So are you worried about Bryce Miller? Do you think he can work things out on the fly, or is the league catching on to him? What are you seeing there, man?
Definitely a little bit of a sophomore slump for Mr. Miller. I don't think that it's anything that can't be worked on. So maybe there's a tick in his mechanics. Maybe he's not having faith in his pitches the way that he was this time last year for us when he got his chance to get into the rotation. It's still a little bit early. We're still 2 weeks from the start of the dog days of summer. So I don't want to harp on the dude and panic on him too much. But I think it's something that can be fixed on if he's willing to get in and put the extra time to get out there and try to fix it. But like Sunday Evening Media says, we're 15th in batting average, which is a huge improvement. And we are in this position without our best 2 pitchers right now. So there's as doom and gloom as this week may have looked, and you know how Mariner fans are, we're quick to jump off that bridge. Uh, real quick to jump off that bridge, but it's still time to be able to correct some things. And then once we get everything flowing at the same one time, which is the $1,000,000 equation here, it's not 54%. It's how to get the balance out of everything that we have consistently for a couple weeks. I think we're in a good spot to be able to figure it out. Our manager seems to have more of a feel of what's going on compared to the analytic front office driven guy of the past. Think we're in a good spot here. Now, next week will tell. Big, big, big spots for us next week. Going after a team that's currently in first place and a team that's battling the battling the juggernaut out there in the NL West that is the Dodgers. But I do think that we are in a good spot, and let's just find a way to be able to keep it rolling until we can definitely get Kirby back and the return of the LOG, the OG, triple OG, Logan Gilbert.
Let's do it, baby. Man, we need LG the OG back. You guys are so right, man. You're saying it, the live chat's saying it. It's no small thing to lose those two dudes. Losing any top two pitchers is a big blow, but these two you could argue are the two best players on the team if you really wanted to make that case. So getting them back and rolling is going to be critical. I'm so glad you wanted to hit up Rowdy Tellez though, bro. That dude's been really big lately. And his average is never going to be high. His career says that. But if he gets enough at bats, he could hit 30 bombs, and that's what he's looking to do this year. And I'm more optimistic about Tellez on how his 2 homers on the week went. He had that late inning huge clutch bomb at Sacktown, and that was a fastball at the very bottom of the zone, inner half. So I guess that's kind of a sweet spot for a lefty, but right at the bottom of the zone, so he had to go down and get it. But his home run against Toronto, I guess it didn't really mean anything in the end, but that was a perfect fastball right on the black of the outside corner. RG, you're always telling me, go with the damn pitch. That's what he does, and he drove it all the way over the wall for a big blast. So it's not just the outcomes, he is taking care of some pretty tough pitches and doing damage. That tells me that there's more coming in the tank for that huge man. And he maybe he isn't a reclamation project. Because like I said, he went over 30, then like 14, and then 14 in the last 3 years. For me, Tellez just might need at bats, and he'll get the power production for you at least. And I also want to pipe in the dude can scoop the ball at first. Any infielder gets vastly more confident to try and make some crazy outs if they know their first baseman can bail them out when the throw is a little wild there, because sometimes that's going to happen. They're trying to make a tough out.
There's not a single person walking around Maryland talking about how much we miss Ty France. So Rowdy Tellez is definitely doing what he's supposed to do. And not only to mention too that Luke Riley's on the DL as well too. So we do got some dogs that'll be coming back to help us. As like I said, the dog weeks of summer start here in the next 2 weeks. But still a good time to be a Mariner fan. Still haven't played, I believe, our best ball. Just need a little bit more consistency. Being able to put Munoz in better positions where he can come in and dominate. Man, we'll get to you guys in the chat here in a second. It's already spicing up over there. But yeah, man, just as unlucky as this week has gone, it wasn't a complete backbreaker to us. Everything is still right in front of us, and we still have the chance to be able to come out. Now, tomorrow, Hancock's on the hill. But then we get to bounce back in games 2 and 3 with Wu and a Castillo to be named later. So we'll definitely see how our rotation happens to stand up this week. I know that they have this big, tall guy that wears 99 that loves to hit the ball across the street to Lumen Field when he plays in T-Mobile. So let's see if we can keep them under check and in control a little bit. But, it's what you want. You got some excitement in May moving forward to it. Can't ask for anything more. Get to some of you guys in the chat. By the way, let's not go any further without doing this. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, to all of you who have moms, your girlfriends, your wife, your baby mama, whoever else has kids in your life. Unfortunately for me, and I think it's for Tyler as well too, we both navigate the rest of this life without our mothers. So we'll rest in peace to Freddie Griffin and Tyler's mom as well too. Tyson talking about the Orioles helped us out, taking 2 of 3 from the Angels and finally showing some signs of life. Even with as dreadful as this year has gotten out for your Orioles, Tyson, you guys are still right in the hunt, 7.5 games out with the majority of the season left to be played. So don't back out too much on them. Texas Power Ranger, Toronto did well by me this weekend. Don't get happy because DeGrom had 10 strikeouts yesterday. Yeah, you can hear his arm snapping from here in New Mexico. So it's gonna be time you're gonna lose that dude. But Seager put on a power display yesterday, so I know you might feel proud to have something to talk about. But just remember, you're a fan of the Rangers and you follow a Mariners podcast. So we're happy to have you either way.
Let's do it, baby. It's funny you mentioned Emerson Hancock because he obviously has a huge test anytime you go against the Yankees lineup. That's a huge, huge test. But remember how pitiful he was in his very first start? 2/3 of an inning pitched and 6 earned runs. The dude couldn't even finish one inning in his first start this year. They sent his ass immediately to AAA. It must have. I bet you Dan must have told him when he pulled him out of the game, bro, pack your bags now. But since he's come up from AAA RG, he's had 3 straight quality starts and 4 straight starts with 3 earned runs or less. So hopefully Hancock's finding it. I have no imagination that he is going to turn into a front of the line dog per se, but I think he can still be a quality major league starting pitcher, and the Mariners desperately need that at this point, and we're going to need every bit of it from him this week, man, because oh my gosh, the way Toronto was hitting the ball hard against us makes me a little bit nervous trying to go against the Bronx Bombers right now.
And that's one of my like gripes. One of my gripes. Normally it's Cleveland that comes in. But all I hear is it's hard to hit in T-Mobile. The dimensions, this, the atmosphere because of the sound, this, that, and the other. But yeah, you got teams that come in and even even without playing home run derby, what they consistently score what 6 runs in every game this week? What we lost 2 games 6-3, and then the 9-1 ass whooping today. So you can't tell me the T-Mobile's hard to hit in because it's just the guy in the teal uniforms that have a hard time hitting a fucking T-Mobile, which is still asinine to me. But at least it wasn't Cleveland. But we do have, like I said, we got some guys that need to be out, just some things that need to be worked on. Hiccup on, I'll chalk this up to a hiccup. We can definitely get back to rolling what's in front of us, but 3 of the next 4 series are really going to determine where it is that we're at. We have the Yankees coming in. Then after the Yankees, we got San Diego. We get a break playing the White Sox, unless the magic of the Pope happens to follow them around. And then we have Houston after that. So by all means, are we not anywhere where we can kind of be able to get a stretch going in, especially with the records of these teams and how hot that they're playing and superstars playing well. The best that we can hope for is to split everything that we have coming up in front of us, with the exception of being able to feast against the White Sox. But not all hope is lost. Just one of those weeks. Baseball is a hard sport. Baseball is a very, very hard sport. As I said in the beginning, we celebrate guys who are successful 30% of the time at this. We put them in the Hall of Fame. Hardest thing in sports to do is to hit a round ball with a round bat. We'll get there. We'll get it figured out. Cal's probably the most consistent guy that we have outside of Robles before he got hurt. But we'll get there. Polanco's had some stretch where he's done well. Or Rosarena, he's kind of hit or miss too. But again, for me, the guy who needs to find a way to step up and carry us is the guy who we first paid $100 million on this roster to, and Mr. Rodriguez, paging you, brother.
It's coming. It's coming. There's a lot of good signs there. His average is creeping up. His walk rate is double what it's been in the past. Julio's coming. I see it coming, but you're right. I mean, it's he needs to perform at an all-star level for this team to go where they want to go. It's really that simple, dude.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, like I said, no real reason to start waving the panic button. Stay away from it. We got some good, exciting baseball still to be able to be played.
Okay, I want to pound a hammer on a nail though right now, man. I'm sick of Donovan Solano, bro. And all he's done is hit like 280 every single year in his entire career, and including last season. But at 37 years old, man, in a sport where you, like you just said, how hard is it to hit the baseball? You only have a millisecond to decide if you want to swing or not. If you lose a millisecond of bat speed each year in your career, there might be some day where you're 37 years old and you just can't catch up anymore. And I worry that might be the case because he's only hitting 143 with a 316 OPS. I said 316 OPS, not on base percentage. And then we have Tyler Locklear down there hitting 295 with an 825 OPS. It's finally time. The Mariners need to make this move happen. I have nothing against Solano personally, but dog, a 143 average from the slowest runner I've ever seen in my life in person on a major league diamond, man. We got to get Ty Locklear up here. And I'm still pumped about this team. It was just a really disappointing week, and I'm not going to be able to hide my disappointment because I love the Seattle Mariners, man. When they struggle, I hurt. So that's how it goes there, man. But
Was trying to find the
it really is crazy. It just happened so fast, though. We were just rolling, and then Toronto came in and kicked our teeth in.
was trying to find this article that was harping on the success that we have had from three hitters um, that have really been hot recently: Montez, Farmelo, and Emerson down in high A squad. Make something happen, man. But what about some of those guys from Modesto? Where are we at? Let's be able to do this thing from the inside. If you look at the way the Astros have had their success, it's because they were able to take the guys who were balling in their farm club system, bring them up, ship out the guys who they were on the verge of overpaying. The only thing that they did was go back to World Series and keep competing. I think it's about time. We've been sitting on guys in that farm system long enough. It's time to call them up and see what it is that they're worth. I would definitely take where Locklear's at over Solano. Matter of fact, we were having this conversation off mic before the show started. We could take Solano and Canzone and get rid of both of them and pull up and give some of them young dudes a shot. Worst case scenario, you keep them on the bench and work with them just a little bit and sprinkle some at bats in for them. But the Solano project hasn't worked out the way that we thought it would. Everybody was excited because he came from the Padres, but I guess there's something about hitting in that lineup in the mixture of Ortiz, Machado, and Luis Arias that just allows you to see better pitches. Or I don't know what it is with that dude, but we absolutely need to start making some moves now instead of just sitting on what we have and letting them die on the vine and lose value on the shelf.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Well, here's the thing too: is even if the organization is dead set on keeping him up right now, I would rather see Dylan Moore and Leo Rivas play instead of him. Put Demo at first base. Put Rivas at second base. It just seems like a black hole right now, and it's hard for me to want to give up on the guy because he's really hasn't had a true shot. But this is pro sports, man. Life's not fair, especially in pro sports. You're either getting the job done or you're not, and sometimes it's baffling to me, RG. Sometimes it baffles me when guys struggle and they come to the Mariners. Their career track says one thing, they come to Seattle and completely lose it. But this Solano's a little different to me because of the age. At 37 years old, it's honestly probable that he's going to fall off the cliff sometime soon. And he's a hitter that's like a savvy, smart type of hitter. And so he honestly probably lost his bat speed a couple years ago, but he is just such a savvy hitter. He's been able to contribute the last couple of years, anyways. But sometimes, man, we know Father Time's undefeated, and I think it's coming for him.
Father Time is definitely undefeated, and with us making some of the off-field mistakes that we had that led to the budget crunch, you gave out an interesting stat last year. Only two guys around that age were able to go somewhere else and perform at levels that no one thought that they could. Eugenio Suarez and Teoscar Hernandez. How would you love to have both of them back right now? But things are just the way that they are. Maybe there is the myth about T-Mobile being hard to hit in from the offensive team, but you see what these guys have done when they've gotten somewhere else, and there has to be another dime in the dozen. We're just going to have a trouble trying to find him because we're unwilling to spend money. But we're not going to harp on that. It's just a bad blip of a week. We still have time to be able to build and get back to where we're trying to get.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. The Suarez trade frustrates me because that's in your control. We shipped him out of town. Teo, I completely get. I don't think he was ever coming back to Seattle after we traded for him. RG, if the Mariners offer 1 year 25 million and the LA Dodgers offer 1 year 25 million,
Going to
who
La
you
La
signing
Land, baby.
with? I mean, this ain't
We're
rocket
going
science
straight to
here.
La La Land.
Yeah, for real. I would peace, and it's good for it's good for your career too. I mean, I've spent my whole life in the Pacific Northwest, but in terms of your very finite professional sports career, I'd be out so fast if in that exact situation, Seattle would have to pay me 30 million, 35 million. I need substantial money to convince me to stay because it's just not even close. LA, historic team, just one of the filthiest lineups the planet has ever seen in what? Probably like 150 years of pro baseball. So I that one just is out of there. But you're right though, man. You just lose so much production. It's hard to replace. And then to see Robbie Ray, your boy, Mr. Tight Pants, killing it again. That trade pisses me off too, dude. Because I'm no Warren Buffett, but you trade a pitcher while he is recovering from Tommy John surgery. Talk about selling a stock at its very lowest value. That was horrible baseball business.
These men get paid to make these multi-million-dollar decisions, and it just seems that every now and then we end up on the short end of the stick on them trying to turn into penny pinchers with the roster so they can put profit into somewhere else to try to make the area around the stadium better, pad their own pockets, be saved up for a rainy day. But, we've been screaming in Stanton for years. What's the use of being the richest man in the cemetery? Go on ahead and put some money into your ball club. Tommy's asking, are there any trade possibilities for us to be able to replace Solano? I don't know where we sit with what we can and cannot do from a financial standpoint. I'm not sure how much getting rid of the other Luis Castillo was able to save us. I know we just picked up want to say Tavares from the Rangers once they put him on waivers. I there it's going to be one of those things where Jerry's going to have to cook this up in the middle of the night and see if we can get shocked by the time we get to the trade deadline. But again, let's not over panic. Let's get some of these guys back and then see where we are. If we can continue to play hot baseball, we might be buyers at the deadline instead of sellers. And really, at this point, that's kind of all we can ask for is just to keep the momentum how it is rolling into the next 8 weeks leading into the All Star break. Sorry, 7 weeks, 7 to 8 weeks leading into the All Star break.
You're right. And what's going to happen too is because of the injuries, we're going to be kind of adding pieces as we go this season. If we can get all these guys back, add Kirby back in a week or two, hopefully add LG, the OG, back in maybe a couple to a few weeks, and then getting Rayleigh back, like you referenced earlier. And we're going to get Robles back sometime near after the All Star break. That would be a giant lift for this team. I'm glad you mentioned Leotis Tavares though. I think that's a sneaky good pickup. I don't think he's ever going to be a great player, but he was a starting center fielder on a championship team. That's something the Mariners can use in this kind of island of misfit toys type of lineup that seems to be working right now. And Tommy, I don't know if there's that much more room in the budget, to be frank. The Mariners have already made, I believe, 2 to 3 trades since the start of spring training. That was for your boy cash considerations. Leody Taveras isn't just a minimum wage dude. He's like about 3.5 million, I believe. So the Mariners are Jerry in the front office is hustling to get enough money to go here, go there. We're trying to make ends meet at the dollar store right now, and I feel they're probably kind of up it against the budget. So it just kind of is what it is. We need Jerry to work his magic, but it's not fair. But this is enough of a budget that they should be able to put out a quality product at least.
And if it's not, we knew coming into spring training that the majority of what we rolled with last year is what we were going to roll with this year. And hope that the change in coaching style, the change in offensive philosophy with Edgar heading the hitting department and relying on our pitching staff was going to be enough. And I think we have overachieved not making the necessary moves to try to build a juggernaut. But when your hands are tied, you got to do the best you can with what you got. We're definitely trying to make a dollar out of 15 cents. And for right now, it seems to be working just with some bad luck on the injury front. But those guys will get healthy. And if we can maintain, we're going to make it tough down the stretch. Now, what we can't afford to happen is the three consecutive series loss whammy that's hidden somewhere in your schedule. It happens to bite every team. So we need to stay away from that trap in the schedule as for as long as we can. What we don't want to happen is another replay of June 18th from last year. And I bring up the dreaded date of June 18th from last year because we were 10 games up on the Astros. And by the time we got to the All-Star break, we were dead even with them. So let's definitely hope that the medical staff can work their magic, that we can get some guys back. I think once we get some guys back, we'll be able to give it a good go. But we're not going to be able to add anything blockbuster to what we have. We're definitely going to have to Billy Bean this thing to try to get there the rest of the way.
No doubt, no doubt. I just want to add too that the defense has been much better. From an eye test and statistically, the defense has been much, much better. Leo Rivas, he does a really good job out there. JB Crawford's always doing his thing. And I noticed immediately, Leody Tavares is a really good fielder out there. Great range. He can make great running catches. I didn't ever realize, RG, this dude's got a freaking cannon for an arm, baby. So, very good pickup, very good pickup. But speaking of JP, I think we need to give JP a shout out, dude, because he's come back with a vengeance last year. He was playing hurt and beat up last year. He wasn't bitching and complaining about it like we see some other athletes do. But he struggled mightily. It was basically JP's shittiest year since he's become a Mariner. But this season, bro, I'm looking at it right now. JP's batting average has improved by 80 points, and his OPS has improved by 150 points. JP Crawford, back to the dude we love, back to the dude we need. So huge shout out to that guy because he's another one where if he wasn't playing at this level and he was playing at last year's level, we're looking at a much different season right now. So holler to JP, man. We need you, bro.
I'll take his 282 all day. I'll take that 282 batting average all
Oh,
day,
hell
man.
yeah.
All day. Baxter asked how many starting players are hurt for you guys right now. I'm going to say that number's around 4. If you consider Kirby and Logan, Rayleigh and Robles, I'm going to say that's 4. I'm just going to say we got 4 key cogs that are out for us right now, and considering that we still have some rope left on this lead, it's the best that we can ask for. It really is the best that we can ask for. Hopefully, we can get those guys back and just continue to play good ball. But I definitely do like this team a lot better than I have any other service teams, including the one that finally broke the streak. A lot more faith in these guys as we move forward.
Well, we know the pitching can do better. And I believe the pitch. There's a good one. Mariner Cypher's right. Ryan Bliss out for the year. We already forgot about him. Starting second baseman, man. I mean, that's the next man up mentality, though, man. And out of sight, out of mind. Good call, Mariners Cypher. I mean, the Mariners we've been struck. I love Ryan Bliss. I love him, man. It's just one of them things, man.
Just mentally, I've kind of have already given him the Kyle Lewis treatment, where I haven't seen you for so long, I forgot you exist.
Okay. I just want to put this out there. The reports are saying George Kirby's stuff looks good down there at Tacoma. Fastball topping out at 97.6, but he still gave up 2 walks, 4 hits, and 3 earned runs in only 3 innings pitched. So he definitely needs to sharpen up. And I guess we got to remember that we're going to need to treat him like it's spring training right now in AAA, and that's what they're doing. That's why he's only pitching 3 innings apiece right now. So it might be a slow build up to get him back. And frankly, RG, I'd rather see him 2 weeks later and make sure he's right at this point. We can't afford to bring him back and shut him down. That shit's not going to fly.
Yeah, that's the same number of walks that dude gives up in a month. So we definitely know that he's not quite where he needs to be, but the fact that he's showing signs of improvement from where he was is, again, there's only so much we can ask for. We are a small market team with an owner who obviously doesn't give a damn to try to spend astronomical amounts of money to make it better. We need every nickel and dime piece that we have in order to keep us in these races.
Fun times, though. Fun times, man. Sunday evening, I don't think anyone knows when Logan's going to come back right now. And that's what's worrisome. I mean, he's got a forearm issue. And so they're going to be extremely careful to bring him back because you rush him back and all of a sudden our best pitcher needs Tommy John surgery. That will be a heartbreaker to Logan. That'd be the heartbreaker to the team. That'd be a heartbreaker to the fans. So I really, really hope that they're able to bring him back slowly. But RG, it is springtime, man. Have you been watching any NBA or NHL playoffs lately?
Been really into the NHL playoffs. I'm a Washington Capitals fan. We were the number one team in the East as far as record wise goes. And this series against Carolina has just been so frustrating. They they are good enough on defense to take us out of our game. We haven't quite found the chink in the armor that we need to be able to keep the pressure on them when we have the puck in the offensive zone. But the majority of these 3 games has been us played with our has been us playing hockey on our heels instead of being the aggressor in the issue. And they took it to us yesterday, man, 4-0. 4-0. Just came out and just did what you're supposed to do at home in the game 3. Now, if there's anything I know about hockey, hockey is ultra competitive, and it's not the old hockey of back in the day. We do have a chance to be able to come back. We are going to need 3 out of the next 4 in order to be able to get it done. But we got to find a way to shift the momentum. Going to need Tom Wilson to go out there and frustrate some people and kind of mentally be able to take them out of their game. Ovi hasn't had a whole bunch of great looks, and then with some of the looks that we have had, just hockey's tough, man. When you get down there, just one little miscue off one side of the stick, and that puck is missing by a mile. So definitely need to be able to keep the pressure on. But a lot of the other games have been good. I mean, the Vegas and Edmonton had a game the other night where the latest game-winning goal in playoff history was scored. Where, yeah, they're just nuts, man. And that was coming off of a overtime game where probably the man in the league right now, Connor McDavid, just that you get that guy on a 2-on-1, you're as good as toast, man. And Eichel was just not good enough to play the defense necessary to try to keep him and Leon Draisaitl out of the goal. But the games have been fun. Games have been fun to watch. The NBA playoffs, though, is the one that just because of basketball around this time of year has just been so indoctrinated into my soul from my grandmother. Shout out to her. May she rest in peace. Happy Mother's Day. That old woman loved basketball. So I tried to catch as much basketball as I could. And if you would have told me in 1,000 years that the Knicks were going to go into Boston and take 2 games from the Celtics, I'd have told you were absolutely crazy. But the devil came back with his rent yesterday, and Boston was able to hit the 23s that they couldn't make the first 2 nights that they played in Boston. Then you have the Warriors Timberwolves series where the Timberwolves, for all intents and purposes, should be blowing them out the water. But that team is tough. That team is tough, and they're just trying to hang around until they can possibly get Curry back. But Now Golden State is in a must-win situation because you don't want to go down 3-1 to them because you can't rush Curry back with the type of injury that he has had. The Denver Oklahoma City series is really, really good. Is really, really good. And Joker just needs more from the people around him to be able to be able to get back to his winning ways. But it's a great time for sports right now. Great times for sports. You got the playoffs rolling, baseball's rolling. The PGA Championship is coming up this week, and it's time to see if the man can pull out one more miracle out of the hat for this time. WNBA is getting ready to get started, so you're going to be spoon-fed a lot of Caitlin Clark coming up, and College World Series time is right around the corner. Super regionals and all that good stuff is getting ready to get popping. So best time of the year. Best time of the year. I'm a little disappointed that we're not going to get a chance to see Sovereignty run for the Triple Crown. They decided to not run him in the Preakness. That just takes a little bit of luster off this time of year. But hey, as a sports fan, good time right now. Good time right now, even without football.
Dude, you're dialed in, bro. You're dialed in, man. You've been naming off all this shit that I didn't even think about, man. I love it, man. I love it, dude. I have been watching a little bit of NBA playoffs, so and like I said, I leave during the season for the most part, but I always come back to it. There's just something about that. I love hoops. I really do. And I can still shoot. I'm just old, short, and fat, so I can't guard a chair. I know what time it is. We'll keep it real here. But I kind of like the T Wolves right now, man. I really do. It's funny because if we just took athletic talent, it's not even close. The T Wolves are so much better than Golden State. But Golden State is so savvy. They have all the experience, all the pedigree. I don't even want to say this right now to hype this guy up, but they kind of got a little bit of the Astros to them, where the talent level might drop, but the winning pedigree's still there. So they're always going to be a thorn in your ass, no matter how talented of a ball club you are. Ant Edwards, though, I love Ant and I love Jokic right now. Those are probably my two guys. Even though overall, I cheer for the old guys because that's where I'm at too, man. I'm just old and want to see some of these other old guys get a little last shine before they're out of this league, and we don't see them again.
Well, you got to cheer for them while you can because that sun is getting ready to set. A lot of those guys have teed off.
I
Amen.
sure as shit ain't cheering for OKC. I
Amen.
sure as
There's
shit ain't
nothing
cheering for
better than the
OKC.
remix of the Seattle Sonics, bro.
That's an awful remix, man.
It could be hot right now. So let's interact with our homies right here. We thank you all for following us each and every Sunday like you do. Tay is already thinking it's September and wants to talk about those sorry ass Cowboys. Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, best duo in the NFL. Last I checked, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith scored touchdowns in the Super Bowl. So I don't want to hear that noise. Let's see here, see if anybody shot back at him. They're not talking about the Cowboys. No one cares about them or how many offensive pass interference they'll have. Oh, man. Let's see here. Taste firing back. I don't want to harp too much on it because it's not football yet, and I'm not quite ready to take a hit out of that pipe. But the NFL is just a juggernaut, man. How it just dominates headlines. Even what are we in May? So we're talking a good 3.5 months before anything that'll really happen of significance happens.
Well, let's take it. I want to take a really quick timeout, bro, and let you go again. We're a show that's not talking the NFL. Most shows are talking NFL. We just want to talk about what's actually being played right now. Go ahead.
Yeah, just trying to live in the moment. Just trying to live in the moment. I know that it's the most popular sport that we have in the country, but take a break and breathe a little bit and enjoy it. Enjoy it. The longer you can kind of keep it in the back burner of your imagination, the more into those 18 weeks that you are. No matter who you cheer for, but just fall in love with something a little bit else for right now. There's a lot of good options. There's a lot of good options, but it is a hot stove. It's always on the hot stove topic. There's just you always want to know. You always want to know. But I'm telling you right now, until somebody figures out a way to make us uncompetitive in the NFC East, you gonna get real sick of Philly over the next few years. So let's what the win how I see it, over the next 3 years, we should get one more. We should definitely get one more over the next 3 years. So I kind of enjoy us coming in with the defense that lost some pieces. That's gonna run some young guys out there, but them Philly boys, we gonna be tough for a minute, y'all. We gonna be tough.
Young core's there. Young core's there, man. That's all that matters. I am gonna say this one thing though, man, about Dallas and trading for George Pickens, man. If he can keep his mind right, that's a great trade. But that's a huge if, man. The Cowboys will be a killer team to play with on Madden, but real football ain't Madden, so we're gonna see how that all rolls out. But I'm telling you, if he can keep his mind right, CD's need a dude like this on the other side for a couple of years now. It has the potential to be a huge move, but what do we know, RG? Potential gets coaches fired.
Potential gets coaches fired. Potential gets Shador Sanders drafted in the fifth round. It's just not time yet.
The shit talking continues though, man. Once you start NFL, man, people just start rolling. Hey, look, I'm wearing my Seahawks hat today, but that's just because that's what I was feeling right now. I needed the air on my head, but
It's all right, brother.
we know what
It is
time it is,
definitely,
though.
yeah, man. Yeah, man. But for real, let's kind of get back to the nitty gritty of everything here. A lot of good sports having to come on. So you got a chance to, when you get home from work, have your dinner, pop open a cold one, roll that thing up if that's what you into, and just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. I know the NBA script can get kind of boring because it always seems that it's two competitive games, a blowout, and to sit through watching the two blowouts to get back to the games being competitive can be a little bit tough at times. But it is and well, unless you're watching Boston do that crazy shit where they're just jacking up threes all day, but it finally paid off for them. That series should be fun just because of the energy that's in Madison Square Garden, and if you got a good surround sound system, crank it up, and just kind of enjoy the way that sports is brought to you. It's definitely better than everything being on tape delay the way it used to be for those guys 30, 40 years ago.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine, man? Tape delayed for the NBA Finals. Thank you, Magic and Larry. Thank you, Magic and Larry.
Oh man, speaking of one of them blowouts, got one going right now. Indiana showed up and Cleveland stayed on the bus.
Woo!
Yeesh, 80-39 at halftime. Ugh, that's gross.
Oh wow! Is Halliburton the truth? I like that
Halliburton's
dude.
been playing with a chip on his shoulder ever since he got hurt in the Eastern Conference Finals and didn't get any run in the Olympics. Boy's definitely been playing with a chip on his shoulder, and maybe it's a good thing you've kept his daddy out of the arena because his daddy would be talking a whole bunch of shit right now.
Oh man, that's
Yes,
so good.
sir.
That's
Yes,
so good.
sir. Man, anything else you got for the people we want to chop it up with?
Yeah, I got a question for you actually, man. And part of it is because I know there's a certain genre of music that you're really into, you're passionate about. And I just want to get your thoughts, man, because we talk Hall of Fame on this show, but it's usually Hall of Fame in sports. The super duo from Atlanta, Outkast, is going to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and Salt and Pepper becomes the first female hip hop group to make it to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Talk to me about either of those two, and just what do you think about that? There are now numerous hip hop artists in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, headlined by Outkast and Salt and Pepper in the year 2025.
I'm not sure how old a lot of the people who follow the show are or are not, but I'll take you back to one of the most infamous nights in the history of hip hop music, where the match that lit the spark that started the East Coast West Coast rivalry. we tease Indy all the time about being the executive producer, all up in the videos. Um, and then Snoop Dogg getting up there and like, y'all ain't got no love for us, and just, it was ready to go off. In that moment of hip hop on that particular night, a small group from Atlanta, Georgia, named Outkast, actually walked away with the top award of Best Album of the Year. Outkast has long deserved to have this recognition given to him. It's just a shame that as we have gotten older, that they have found other ways to make money off of their talents and the love of music. Well, as far as rapping on wax goes, they have chose to stay away from. Andre just put out another musical album of him playing the piano, and from what I understand, he says he created it 10 years before the Flute album. And he doesn't want to rap because he says he doesn't have anything to talk about that can keep him relevant right now. And I kind of admire him being able to stay in his lane like that. But you got to understand, this dude is one of the top 10 of all time. Together, they're dangerous. Individually, they just, even Big Boy, man, they deserve this spot. Salt and Pepper. I don't think there's been any group that has been more influential to the hip hop genre than they have. They're the reasons why you see what is going on now in the rise of women music. They're the ones who got it started. You can say Lady of Rage, but you can't name me two Lady of Rage songs other than Afro Puffs. You can say Yo Yo, you can't name me another Yo Yo song other than You Can't Play With My Yo Yo. Salt and Pepper, think about it like this. Even when the WWE started to venture into using more hip hop in their shows, first group they went with, Salt and Pepper. Though those ladies deserve their shine and happy to see them get in. The one that was on the list that shocked me the most was I didn't know Chubby Checker wasn't in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. So it's definitely good to see a lot of these people get their shine, man.
Let's do it, man. I love it too. And for all the naysayers, man, because I'm a huge hip hop head, and I'm also a huge fan of rock and roll, any genre across that board. If you just think about rock and roll is just taking music to a boundary you didn't really think it could go to. And so how could hip hop not be included? So there's naysayers that's like hip hop shouldn't be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Then I say you don't really know what rock and roll is because it's just rock and roll is just supposed to push the boundaries of what you thought conventional music was supposed to be, and hip hop has clearly been that for what? I mean, what? For almost 50 years now. 50 years of hip hop, bro. Literally.
I won't get into how long and how deep into the woods it was, but if you thought that Elvis wrote some of them songs and he wasn't biting the styles and music of people who he knew would never get to that level, you'd be surprised where a lot of that comes from. But that's for you to do the dishes. That's for you to do the dishes on, not me.
Yeah, no doubt.
Not me. Man, Ty, it's been a fun episode, man. Been real fun. Real happy to be back. I'll be back each of the next 2 weeks. I want to give a shout out to my homie Jerry B6 for holding me down last week. I hate missing the show when he's a part of it. I hate missing when Eric Neal's a part of it, but it's just how my work schedule goes, man.
Hey, man, we got bills to pay, and I appreciate that grind you put out, man.
Yes, sir. My oh my, it's another sports broadcast is brought to you each and every week live here on YouTube. Thank you for those of you who join us in the live chat. You make this show what it is. Don't forget, we try to be live each and every Sunday by 5:30, and if we're not, you can always check the socials to see what time it is. We will be going live. Huge shout out to our social media director, Miss Katie Masamoto. Thank you for all that you do. For those of you who can't join us live on Sundays on YouTube, don't forget the episode drops each and every Tuesday morning, wherever you like to get your favorite podcast service from. Big shout out to our homie Indy, rocking the Woods of Steel in Nashville, Tennessee, making us sound like $1,000,000, putting on the show on YouTube. And thank you for all that you do as well. That to my right side of the screen is the homie Tide Talks 24 coming to you from Little Lake Stevens, Washington. Again, Mission Control Center is down there in Nashville, Tennessee with the homie Andy. Don't forget, follow us on our socials at MyOhMyASP. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, wherever you like to get your content from. Interact with us, man. We've been throwing up some good videos and tell us what you think about it. And don't forget to keep helping us grow every week. Finally got my shirt in, so we're rocking the merch tonight. And thank you for all the support that you've given us. I'm that dude RG representing the Cinco Cero Cinco, Albuquerque, New Mexico. And we'll see you each and every week for another episode of My Oh My. It's another sports podcast.